very much for the performance, but it's heavy piece, I have to say. Why did you choose such a heavy piece? You are from Norway, such a wealthy country. So why do you try even to touch this theme?
Maybe the Norway connection. Yeah. I've always been preoccupied with fascism, in fact, racism. I grew up with a lot of black friends, friends from the Middle East in Norway, and there was a constant little battle going on with the neo-Nazis in my hometown. Actually, quite a lot of them, in fact. Some of my friends got shot at as well. So it's not just the thing of being in Norway. It's not necessarily a happy place, especially if you're a little bit outside of the monoculture of Norway. And so this theme has been with me for a very, very long time. And one of the triggers for this piece was actually the massacres on Utøya, on Breivik, which made us think about what is this? What is this? Because I'm thinking that we discussed a lot about the idea of good people doing horrible things, which was very much linked to Nazism and to communism as well. If you have a great idea, you're likely to commit some pretty horrendous acts. And we found that we had a common understanding of that, or experience that we could link together two themes: the theme of fascism, racism, and the theme of a totalitarian dictatorship like the communist state, and more specifically Estonia, and Külli's grandmother's experiences, and experiences of many other Estonians who were deported in the 40s to Siberia. Lots of them who died on the way.
Yeah, one of the ideas was this that on the name of good we do the evil acts, and we were also inspired by this Stanford prison experiment where people were given roles, and if half of the people were behaving like prisoners and the other half were put in the role of prison guards, and they started to use their power over the prisoners. So then we were asking this question, that how comes this permission to act or to commit violence, and we thought like probably these violent ideas, these people have to also think that this is a good, in some ways good idea, or good, maybe they are doing good with this violence. Even if we think now this attacking Syria and it's on the name of good, we are going to maybe commit a war or go into war. So this was this one thought over it, but the concrete event was my grandmother's story in 1949 when Estonians were deported, 20,000 people in one night with the trains. So this story is actually, I asked my grandmother what were the conditions in the train. So she said these facts, and we used this info.
The text is the story of your grandma, partly.
We were expanding it a little bit, like the conditions were like this, what she said, the numbers and things, but we were adding there the nationalities, the other nationalities as well, because the deportation is not only Estonian story.
Yeah, it's also part of our histories, exactly. I was thinking also about this kind of space you created, a kind of lab between lab, hospital, what else? And this white suit you wear, it could be a hospital for mental ill people, or it could be just a hospital, or it could be the experimental hospital, and so on and so on. And it also could be, because I got this about the movement, about the martial arts and training, and about obedience. I am not very, but it's a stream of thoughts about the obedience, which was also somehow included in the training. About this, who is master, or who has this, I don't know, not maybe power, but the knowledge. So what knowledge, my question maybe is, what knowledge has the people who have power? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very true what they say, knowledge is power. But you could also turn around and say that power is knowledge, in a way. I've been reading quite a lot, not lately, but before, Michel Foucault, who's talking a lot about how how power produces a certain kind of knowledge, a certain way of thinking. So that in that discourse, in the competition between different power structures, a certain way of seeing the world is produced by that. And I think this kind of knowledge, the kind of secrecy is of course one of the main fundaments of power, to have to be the one who knows the secrets of the state, to know what's going on, to know the secrets about you. Especially, I mean, like that was very much the case in of course, in the Soviet times. But as we've seen now, that this is very much the case also now with the whole internet surveillance programs as well. So somebody's sitting somewhere with knowledge about other different things, and that gives powers, it gives leverage. And of course, so knowledge, it's a very kind of intricate connection between power and knowledge, and it's very kind of interwoven, I think.
Do you use this idea of the martial arts in your physical?
Very much, yeah. Very much. My background is from a martial art called ninjutsu, which is kind of ninja fighting. So it's all about this little, dressed in black, and you go around kill people in a not very elegant way, but very efficiently. And of course they also silently, and just like nobody notices. Nobody should notice. Suddenly someone just drops. But yeah. So I mean that's my form of ballet. You could say I come from that training, and then I went into theater and dance. So it's the fundament of my movement material.
I wanted to say about this white background, that because actually we in the beginning we had all the walls white, so it was really like a white limbo box, and we wanted to arrive maybe to this generalization that this could be in your consciousness, or it's just a thought, or something like this generalization. Yeah, or mental, yeah. Because I think for me it's also interesting that the story happened almost 60 years ago, like with my grandmother. But for me it's still alive because I've been talking with her, and I remember and I think and I interpret my own fears or actions or thoughts. So like the idea that things are living or going on and having impact, and so on the mental space, what is the result of this concrete actions? This was interesting for us as well.
Even the sound effects, these commands were somehow from the martial arts.
Yeah, it's very much a martial arts thing. It's also a military thing.
Yeah.
Very much a military thing. It always kind of, I'm also an officer, in fact. in the Norwegian army. Who would have thought? Yeah. It's a long time ago.
How your close relationship helps you, or just the opposite, to build such a brutal word on stage?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we take out all the things that we can't do in private life on stage. I don't know.
No, it helps because we do talk about a lot our ideas and we create pieces together. So we don't have to only have from 10 till 6 rehearsal time. It's when the idea comes, then it comes, and so I think it's a good thing.
And a bad thing. Because we never rest.
Yeah.
Just keeps going.
Yes.
I have a question to Külli.
I'm still impressed with your. I cannot even call this acting. It was for me. I saw that you were searching for some exit, for some decision, for some new information, and it was always something was moving inside of you, not the statistic position, but something is happening, and now it starts to happen in me. So, did you find out something new? Some new exits from this situation, something new thoughts about your topic.
Yeah, thank you. Because I was just thinking about what are we busy with in this piece, and I was thinking before that we have this structure, and but we are interested in the experience, what comes, and the experience really is different in each performance, and. It's quite weird, but the way I find myself in the end solving this, let's say, this puzzle there, it's quite different from one performance to another. Sometimes I'm finding that I am strong, I won. The other times I'm really sad that what do I do with this power now? Am I happy? No, I'm not happy. So like all these different things arrive, yeah, in each performance. And I think the word is experience, like trying to find the experience from the situations and texts, and also I think audience is influencing the experience. So.
Did you ever think about the different ending? That the good will empower the bad side of us.
Yeah.
It's not interesting.
Yeah. No, we did try. It took a long time to find the end. Actually, it was one of the last things that kind of fell into place. And we had some, more funny, and also at some point we were just like, yeah.
It's not funny.
It's not funny, so it's not. It didn't feel right, and I think for us, it's very much the end is very much manifestation of the idea that it's not that easy, in a way. We see it time after time. We saw it now in the Arab Spring as well. Like you kick out the dictator, then what? There's always an then what afterwards. Russia now. Fuck. So so there are this. It's an ongoing process. It's not something that will ever doesn't really finish. And democracy is not something that just flourishes simply because you get rid of the bad guy.
It's not easy at all. Happy ending democracy. Some questions, comments? How do you deal with such a strong and heavy piece?
You used some very different material in this piece, and it was composed for me in some particular way. So can you tell about the tools of composition that you used in this piece, and did it came from the work with material or from some compositional exercises, or from you or from outside?
Yeah, we had, because we usually start quite eclectically, we have like images and visions, and we had this idea of interrogation. And in the beginning we were also not sure about our characters, we were not committing this, that one is, let's say, the victim and the other is the power person, but we were open to have like very different characters. But then, one of the first scenes was this, that Kenneth is commanding this and this thing, and then after that it was a little bit like, okay, so if I am being commanded like this, then I have to continue with my role in a way, and so it became more clear. But for example, we used improvisation also with the text. Some text we really constructed, asking the facts, for example, from grandmother. But there was this funny angel scene when we were just like saying, let's walk around and start to talk about something. And then the first question was like, is this real? In a way, like, is this situation real, or what is the real? And so it just came from improvisation and about questioning what's the moment here, and what are we trying to do, and what is this, creating this piece about this thing, and yeah.
And it's also a lot about we're not very conceptual in that way, that we kind of conceptualize the piece first and then kind of create it, but we work more from a sense of listening to the material. We start out with images, we start creating some material, and then try to listen to where does it want to go? How is it? What would be kind of a natural evolution of this material, or how, if it's been going on for a long time, then how can we break it? What would be a good way to do it? And then we kind of slowly, as scenes start to emerge, we start to see what is a logical way to put them together. How can we fit the jigsaw puzzle somehow, and find how to use the material.
We also play around, like we had an image, for example, that maybe Kenneth really has wings, and our costume designer started to make even these weird wings, but then we realized that it's not so funny actually, and it's not so cool. And then we had the idea that maybe the whole stage is covered with feathers, and the costume designer was like, are you sure? Okay, like try this feathers, like it brought us a handful of feathers, and we were like, maybe it's not so cool. So it's a lot of, we let it go, a lot of ideas as well. And, yeah.
Much better without feathers.
Yes. I really much appreciated the fact that your character, Külli, was so strong but soft at the same time. And because you are a man and woman, and you were the victim and you were the dictator, I was really worrying when you will step over that line, that it's too much, and I really appreciated that you knew how far you can get, even with movement or with physical actions, or just transport the physical actions into a more poetic way of pronouncing it. And I just want to ask you if it came just from two of you, or somebody else helped from outside to balance this situation, not to be too much like this into this female play.
I think it comes a lot from us, mostly. We had a dramaturg working with us as well, but I think mainly
I just remember this moment when we were thinking like, but how should I get power? Because I am not stronger than Kenneth, and how can this work? And then we just thought like, okay, it must be like this, that Kenneth is giving the power to me, and maybe he as a let's say old dictator, he's also maybe tired of this being the powerful, but seeing all these ugly things. So that's why he's like, we thought like, okay, let's make some poetical effort here. And then we tried with this idea that we have this,
Yeah, I think the transfer moment is very important, and of course it wouldn't have worked if Külli wouldn't be strong already. I mean, like, it's clear that even if she's a victim, she's still a very strong victim throughout the whole piece. So it's also a question of kind of, I don't know, like personalities and what we express also with movement material. And I think we're like when we first started working together, Külli was working for me as a dancer, as I was a choreographer, and then we started making work together. So, and what struck me in the beginning was how similar we were in our understanding of movement and timing and energy. And with, so unisons have been a very, we've been working a lot with unisons and to, in a way, try to ignore gender in the work. It's there anyway, and somehow, like, how is it possible to step beyond that? Of course it's not, but we can make the effort.
But quickly, just to say that our team, we have a team with who we have been working many pieces already. Like, we have this dramaturge, the same already 3 pieces, and the composer and the light designer who is here with us. And so in a way, of course, all these guys are helping us to watch what's going on and giving advice.
Can I ask one personal question? Who is leader in your work, Külli or Kenneth?
In Poland we've got such a sentence that the man is the head and the woman is a neck who's moving the head.
The same expression.
Anybody else? Yes.
I was going to say that I had read this little tiny blip, but I forgot about it. And I'm actually glad that I did, because when I watched it, I didn't have the experience that you were somehow taking over power. Rather, especially in that moment when you said that you're dead already, and that you said you had forgotten everything that happened as soon as you got to the station. So that, to me, it was more like somehow this transfer of power was rather pushing through this block, mental block, so that this other is sort of, it's like your own little personal, right? And then kind of somehow accepting its truth, or yeah, it was different. So to me, it wasn't violence in that. There was a reclaiming of power.
Because exactly, I remember when I was looking for what is going on. It's actually, we didn't want to do like who is actually stronger or who is weaker, but I thought that as a victim, what can I do then? I have to take responsibility and sort of go on with my life, not to stay like, okay, my grandmother was taken and I am the victim for all my life. But so I thought like, okay, maybe the moment when I get power is that, okay, I start to just accept what was and go on and have a power over my life or something like that. Yeah. So.
Nah, solid question. I found it because I was really struggling with the work for a long part, because you also express thoughts that I think we all agree, maybe even are like, we don't agree, or it's not humane, or It's not what we want to strive for. But what I found interesting is that both you didn't leave each other, but also us not off the leash with by running away from it. Because I thought, oh, this is the end, and she's not facing it or running away, and you didn't. And for me, that was very interesting, and it appealed for me to the same. Like it's not over until it's faced and until it's known. And I found that very strong about the work. So thank you for that. It's not really a question.
We are also waiting, and we encourage you also for such a feedback.
Yeah. Because it is really what you say. It is not easy. You know, the answer is not just, oh, just kill it. You know. No, but it is because also thinking about being a victim or taking a victim role, it's like we accept it also as a role. It is also a role we can choose. So.
Sometimes it's even easier to be a victim.
Absolutely. So I find it beautiful how you raise those questions almost in an epic way, you know. No, it was almost like watching a film, or like not, or it was. Yeah, I appreciated very much the form you found with a lot of dancing and not so much words. Yeah, I mean, compared to a theater play, it's like, damn. Yeah. So great. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I think that we are coming to the end of our discussion, or whatever we call it. And you are still here with us, right? So.
Yeah, for now. Tomorrow morning.
To continue the same performance a little while, you know, 3 more performances.
It's good for you.
It's good. Congratulations. Yeah. You can find new experiences.
So we can let you go. So thank you very much for your presentation this night. And I think that we will stay with it longer than one evening. So thank you very much.
Thank you.